speaking to you for probably about 10 minutes, and then you will be exploring. This is really hands-on. So Will Camp, who some of you know, some of you don't, he's kind of our resident philosopher of the teacher education department. He gave us two questions. What is my work and who am I as an educator? And those two questions kind of drove what we would produce and how we would process our time student teaching. So I worked at Animas High School this semester, which is a project-based learning charter high school. And I had the opportunity to teach Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 to grades 9 through 11, basically, mostly 9th and 10th graders, but it's a phenomenal place. So I took those two questions, what is my work and who am I as an educator, and I was supposed to write an essay and produce an artifact. To me, the artifact is a metaphor of everything that I've learned during my time at Animas High School and my time working as an educator. So I will be telling you about my artifact, and then we will have stations. You will each have roughly 5 to 6 minutes at each station to explore. And then we will come back at the end and have an open discussion. And I really want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear the emotions that you feel when you're looking through my work. I want you to critique me. You don't have to just compliment me. I want you to bring questions that come up when you're looking at work, okay? I want you all to be critical, but to look at my work, how it impacts you. So to begin, I'm going to read the rationale, just the center paragraph. And you don't have to follow along, but if you learn through reading, you can. The deepest understanding that I have acquired this semester stems from the realization that beauty lies in the process of questioning and unlearning. I catch ideas and cultivate them. Each creation is then exposed to the scrutiny of my students. The process is both brutal and beautiful. Everything I do is judged and then reflected back at me. I must constantly accept the judgment, question myself, dig deeper, and try it another way. In practice, my self-perception and my scholastic achievements no longer matter. If I cannot reach my students, I cannot teach my students. Thus, I must change. So I'm going to use that to talk about my art that I created here. Another really big lesson that I learned is in communication, right? We have to communicate with our students. You might spend a week working on something that you think is going to be beautiful, and you put it before your students and they just tear it apart. Or you might produce something that you maybe didn't put so much effort into, and they might just latch onto it and be completely engaged. But the only way to know how they truly feel is to communicate with them and to ask them their experience, and to be able to take what they say to you and actually listen to what they say and take it in, change yourself. So, okay, this is my artifact. This is called, in Spanish we call this a pupitre. There is no word in English for it. It's like a desk-chair combination. It's kind of going out. These aren't really used as much anymore in schools. But at the start of my semester at Animas, the teachers put their furniture in the halls, and we can swap it around. And I found this, and I loved it. It was blue. I don't know why, I just loved it. And I told Susie, who is my amazing cooperating teacher, that we had to bring it into the classroom. We needed a pupitre. And what I have done to it, so it is blue, which represents the stereotypical masculine ways. Well, the stereotypical masculinity. And it's baby pink on the other side to represent stereotypical femininity. And this really applies to Spanish because Spanish is a very gendered language. Right? Every noun has a gender. Every adjective, anything that you use to describe that noun, then assumes the gender. So, for example, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if I wanted to say I was short, I would say soy baja. But if I was a man, I would say soy bajo. Right? So my gender is expressed in the way that I express myself. However, I recognize that gender is a spectrum, and there are several people in this world that don't identify with one gender or the other. And I am a multicultural educator, so that means I have to be open to all cultures, not just be welcoming of ethnicity and race and class, but I also have to be welcoming to gender. So I started to think about this, right? Because I gave an opportunity, I had this experience in class where we did an activity, and I recognize now that the students had to choose their gender in order to participate in the activity, and one of my students didn't participate. And her silent protesting made me really think, oh, that, there's got to be another way. There has to be a way for students to succeed in my class, to succeed in Spanish, and not have to identify as a certain gender if they don't want to. So one thing that I found out over the course of my semester is that in writing, so I put this @ sign, because in writing, to me, you can use an @ sign because it represents both the O and the A. And to me, that makes me aware that the students understand they need to choose an O or an A. They need to they're supposed to have gender, noun, adjective agreement, right? Everything is supposed to match, but that they're choosing not to. And to me, it's a little revolution. And I also realized that in spoken Spanish, instead of saying maybe I am tall or I am short, they could say I have a short stature or I am a tall person. So I'm trying to find ways to be more multicultural. So the purple represents, I got involved with the GSA, which is the Gay Straight Alliance at Animas High School, just to try to understand this culture more. And they have a whole anti-bullying movement, and this is the color that they chose. So that is why I used this color. It's like underneath, it's the support structure of my chair. Okay, that's the pink, and that's the blue, and that's the purple on the outside. This is me trying to find balance between my work and my home, between my family and being a teacher. And I'm always very unbalanced in that I put a lot of work into being a teacher, and I'm not always present when I'm at home. So this is me trying to find balance. There's other stuff involved as well. The back is a thank you card to Susie. And she will know, I think she will completely get when she looks at it. The back is a thank you card to her. I took off the table, I took off the desk part, and I turned it into a mirror. And the reason I did that is because education is really shifting, right? There's this whole paradigm shift in education where we as teachers no longer are the ones that are delivering the information, right? We're the ones that have to question everything that we do. And so how my desk works is it's meant to be sat in, it's super comfortable, you can put your legs up. If somebody's sitting on it, other people can see what's going on around it. But I put these questions here, all these questions that I ask myself to make myself a better teacher and a better mother and a better human. But you can't read the questions just looking at them. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and hold the questions up, and then you can read the questions. Okay? So that's kind of cool. You guys will get to explore that in a little while. And then below that is a collage. And the collage, I think that maybe Susie will understand a lot of the stuff that's on the collage. It all has to do with all these different things that I learned throughout the semester. And you can see it from wherever you are. Somebody can be sitting in the chair and you can still see the collage from a distance. And the reason it's under the chair is because there is so much work that we do as educators that nobody ever sees. And there is so much learning that happens in a classroom that nobody can ever assess. You might think that you're assessing what somebody learned, but really you're not. There's so many other things that happen in the classroom that can't be assessed. So that is my artifact. It is meant to be sat on. You can lay on the ground, kids, anybody else. You can lay on the ground, you can look up at it. You can spend hours looking at it. It doesn't just go one way. If you lay different ways, you can see different things. That is my artifact. This is station 1. Okay? So how I took my essay, instead of reading you my essay, this is not my essay. This is a way to explain to you my artifact, if that's how you read. If you process through reading, as I know some of you do, then that is what this piece of paper is for. The rest of it, the essay that I wrote about what is my work and who am I as an educator, I chalked it up. This is part of it here at station 1, which applies to my chair. I have part of it here at station 2, which is, you can read this as you look at it. This is representative of beautiful student work and why I chose to give the students the projects that I gave to them. I don't actually explain to you what the projects are, because I just want you to kind of look at the projects as art. Some of you will understand it's all in Spanish, but even if you can't understand the Spanish, you can see what it looks like. You can get it, the idea, just by looking through it. I would like to know, these are students in their first and second year of Spanish, so the grammar is not excellent. Some of it is really, really, really well done, but not all of it. And then station 3 over here, what's going on at station 3? This is an iPad. If you've never used an iPad, you swipe it to get it open. I have a website. So this is I made one page on my website that's all about my professional exhibition today. And it has examples of work, it has my work. It goes into more detail about what's going on with these projects. There's photo galleries of exhibitions that we did. So I really, at this station, at station 3, when you're there, I invite you to explore my website. It's okay, you can listen to it, it's fine. That's our head of school, that guy that's older, that's our principal.